Nathan's Famous, an iconic New York landmark with over 100 years of history, but the menu proved that not only is less more, but more is less.
Combining the beer and the lemonade made for the perfect Coney Island Shandy, but eating the frog legs made me think maybe I should have failed AP Bio.
The hot dog is absolutely worth the hype, but the way my body is screaming at me, I'm at risk of riding the Great Cyclone Coaster in the sky. With Chili's as the Rosetta Stone in the world of chain dining, used to understand whether any restaurant is worth visiting when held up against the baby back behemoth, we're going to put the iconic Nathan's Famous through the Chili's test to determine if this hot dog mecca is good or not good. Will this beachside institution benefit from the fact that nobody forced us to eat 70 plus hot dogs in 10 minutes? How is it when exploring more of the menu? Let's find out together. This is the Fine Dining Podcast.
Your table is ready, take a seat. The flavor of the day is mediocrity. Wouldn't you like to try a bite? Guarantee it'll be the perfect bite. Fine dining, better than you thought, worse than you hoped. Fine dining, we don't treat mediocre as a joke. Ranking every single place we've been, compared to the perfect 5 out of 10.
Hello, and welcome back to Fine Dining, the quest to compare all restaurants to Chili's. I am your host, Michael Ornelas, and this is the show where I'm using Chili's, the perfectly in-the-middle 5 out of 10 dining experience, to measure what is good or not good by comparison. By the end of this episode, we will have an answer to the greatest unknown in human history. Is Nathan's Famous better than a Chili's? You can answer that for yourself in the comments right now if you like, but we're going to break down our experience there today into what was good, what was not good, and what was just there before we score Nathan's Famous at the end of the episode. Joining me today to discuss Nathan's Famous once again is a New York-based comedian who I reached out to specifically because I thought he exuded perfect hot dog energy and couldn't pass on the opportunity to down some doggies with him. It's Marty Cunnie.
I'm a hot dog boy, Michael.
You are a hot dog boy. I am a hot dog baby. You are slightly more grown than I am. I was expecting you to say man so I could be boy. But when you said boy, I had to go younger.
Beat you to it.
Thanks for joining. How's your body feeling? We're 2 hours removed.
I just used the bathroom and it somehow feels worse.
Falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, normally that's like a respite. And I think, man, my body's really dealing with a lot right now. And I put my body through a lot. And so this is a unique experience.
Yeah. I was genuinely thinking I was going to fall asleep while doing this, the part 1 episode.
As soon as we sat on the couch, I was like, this is too comfortable.
This is bad.
This is too comfortable.
This is a bad sign. Just stay awake. Like, it's just that.
That's why we put all the hot dogs down so we can't lay down.
That siesta. Yeah. I don't want to be embarrassed and wake up with dog on my face. Yeah. That's like the expression goes, dog on my face.
Dog on my face.
Yeah. We are feeling terrible, but that does not mean that there wasn't anything good. So let's talk about it. Let's go into talking about everything that was good about Nathan's Famous.
This is the good, done like it should be. The stuff that's finger licking, or sticking the landing. This is the good, I knew that you could. This is the good.
Okay, I'll start with dessert first.
Yep.
I had an Oreo cookie shake. Looked beautiful on the poster, looked good in my hand, and it was good, but in a way that kind of betrays what it is. Oreos are amazing. They're like a 10 out of 10 snack. Milkshakes, amazing. Somehow this shake was a 6.2 out of 10 for me. So it's still technically a good food item, but I don't think it was as good as it should have been.
Yeah, I don't know how a milkshake tastes warm, but that did. You know what I mean? It was like, this is frozen, and yet it's still warm. And I get that it's hot outside.
Yeah.
But like the whole point is that this is supposed to be like, ooh, a nice cold treat.
It was kind of like if a milkshake wasn't refreshing.
Yeah. And it was wow, cool. How'd you manage that? Like, what's your secret?
I do know what their secret was. The ratio of whipped cream was way higher.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a crazy amount of whip. It was like they layered whipped cream into it.
Maybe, yeah.
It was like a cake.
It felt like it was like
fondant or
a
like whatever.
third of it
Instead of the
whipped
buttercream in the middle, it was whipped cream.
Yeah.
It was a layered milkshake. Yeah.
So like these are all tasty things. And again, I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad, but it didn't bring me the joy that a milkshake does. So like, yeah, I'm putting it in the good technically.
It was middling. It'd be amazing if you could make a bad milkshake. You know, like,
right.
I'd be impressed with you.
Yeah.
And this was almost there.
It was like they were trying to. To me, they didn't succeed.
They couldn't do it because you can't. But it was like, damn, good try.
Yeah.
You know?
Solid, man. A for effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a score for the milkshake?
I said 5.
You said 5. Okay, so for you, it's
because
just
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Again, but it's like you did your best.
Yeah. to make it, to sabotage
to make it bad. It feels like I would go somewhere else in Coney Island for a dessert.
Yes. I would get this dessert and I'd be like, I need another.
Yeah.
I would go somewhere after.
Yeah. Considering how we felt, I would still be like, I still need a dessert.
Yes.
Even how I felt. Because there was something missing from
it. It was
that.
like negligible.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I didn't eat dessert today.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. I did my best.
What's something that you thought was good?
The lemonade that's my ideal lemonade, really. It was tart, not too sweet. It had a lot of ice. So like, I like when there's a lot of ice, so it kind of mellows, it melts into it and kind of thins it out after a while. Mm-hmm. But I also got a beer alongside of it. And once I got halfway to both of those, I combined them into a Shandy. And that was like, I could walk up and down that boardwalk with a Shandy who needs therapy? You know, like that would be my new therapy, is just people watching on Coney Island with a half beer, half Nathan's lemonade Shandy. I was on board.
You looked like everyone's uncle.
Yeah.
Walking around with a beer and a lemonade, just double fisting.
100%. Yeah. No, and I felt that way.
With a halal cart shirt on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I felt like an uncle in terms of like, it was fun watching other people have responsibility.
Yeah.
While I'm walking around with a lemonade and a beer.
Like, I'm just chilling. There's no expectations of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in my fucking zone here.
Yeah.
I give that a 9 out of 10. It wasn't a perfect lemonade. I think it's like, it was missing just one little thing that's like an unknown. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, somebody added like a little mint to it or something. Like, oh, that would really kick it to the next level. So I was missing that. But everything else was good for me.
I had a sip of it. I thought it was a little too sour for my taste. I do think I like lemonade to veer a little bit sweeter.
Sure.
Maybe not too, but like I want it to be pretty close to like a 50-50.
Sure. This is more of a preference thing for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This made me like pucker.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I gotta talk about the star of the show.
Bring it on.
The original hot dog. Not pictured, but
this is it.
Approximated.
These are all real Nathan's hot dogs.
These are all real Nathan's hot dogs around us. No, but they're original hot. Like, it looks gross.
It looks like the most unassuming. Like if I had to draw a picture of a bad hot dog, this is probably what I would draw.
It's skinny.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't imagine it get any skinnier. It's probably as small as a hot dog can get without being considered like a beef jerky stick.
It wasn't that skinny.
It's getting, but like how much skinnier could it get?
Yeah.
You know?
I wrote, it's the boyfriend dick of hot dogs. It's like, you'll stay with it.
Yeah.
But it's not vacation
You'll
dick.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll appreciate it. It's enough.
It's great, babe.
But I also see why someone might need 76 of them. Just to feel something, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was, look, something about it, it slaps. It's got the snap.
The term that we've learned today from the Yelp reviews, that I've learned today from the Yelp reviews, snappy, is perfect for this dog.
The bun isn't too dry.
Yeah.
You always run the risk with
dogs. They
dogs.
toasted the bun a little bit too.
It was either toasted or like steamed or something.
It had a little zhuzh to it.
And it was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
And then there's like a Nathan's brand mustard that I put on it, and
lumpy mustard.
It was a lumpy. Look,
this is a lumpy mustard.
It was a lumpy mustard, and I love my mustard to have lumps.
And also, yeah, like I said, the snappiness meant that it was also moist too. Like it had a lot of moisture when you bit into it. So like I got the chili cheese dog.
Yeah.
And even under that, you could taste. It was like usually you get a chili cheese dog to like mask whatever you're getting under that, but like still the hot dog was the star of the show.
This was like you were trying to ruin the hot dog the way they were trying to ruin the milkshake.
Yeah.
And you're like, but underneath it's still good.
Yeah. But you couldn't beat it. Yeah.
Yeah. I went 9 out of 10 on the original hot dog.
Yeah. Well, I got the chili dog, and I think that actually put it down. I would rather have gotten just the hot dog. So
yeah.
I put the chili dog down with an 8. Not that the chili and the cheese was bad, but it was just kind of like, oh, why'd I get that?
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't need it.
So there's a part of me that like when I get a chili cheese dog and it's not a crazy amount of chili that I can't even pick up the dog, I get mad because I'm like, what did I pay for? Mm-hmm. But this was actually, it was a nice handheld chili cheese dog. You could walk around with it and just eat it normally. You didn't have to fork and knife it. You get that. If I got that at a ballpark, I might be kind of pissed. But at the stand, that was perfect. But it was still like the chili with the cheese. It was like, it wasn't like sprinkled cheddar that melted down. It was like, oh, this is like nacho cheese. It was okay. So the hot dog made up for it. I kept it at an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
The music.
Oh yeah.
It was like alternating between classic rock and soft rock, and both of those things are my shit.
It was 80s dance vibes.
Like Celine Dion, I think, was playing when we went in, and I was like, not mad at this. And then I heard Queen later.
Yeah, it was all coming back to me now. And then it felt like one of those like collections, like CDs that you saw commercials for.
Now that's what I call hot dogs.
Now that's what I call Coney Island soft rock.
Yeah,
it was great, and so it definitely like the vibes were right. It really set the like this is like the 80s cookout you were looking for.
Yes,
yeah,
and it also felt like parents are in the room.
Yeah.
It felt like, hey, don't go too crazy.
Yeah,
but we recognize that the environment encourages you going crazy. So we're trying to counteract.
You kids have fun.
The mistakes you might make.
All right.
It was literally, you're the uncle.
Well, that's not what an uncle would say.
The uncle is like, hey, do you know how to roll a joint properly?
You kids got any beer?
Yeah.
He's got a Shandy.
What's another good from you?
Oh, another good. I liked those fries. The Crinkle-Cut.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not the best fries, but like it was a new angle on the Crinkle-Cut fries that I hadn't seen. They were like big and thick. It was like steak Crinkle-Cut fries.
Yes, it was. To me, they just crept into the good category.
Yeah,
they are right at a 6 out of 10 for me. Very potato forward in the flavor.
Yes,
which for a fry being potato, you don't always get that. I don't need to taste potato in my fries. I really don't. I want the fryer oil and the crunch.
If the first 10 years of my life you didn't tell me fries were potatoes, I'd think they were their own thing.
Yes.
And
but that said, the potato element of this, it's good.
Yeah.
I thought that they were a little mushy.
Well, it suffered from the problem that every Crinkle-Cut and steak fry I've ever had is that they're rarely crispy enough.
Yeah.
For some reason, just, I don't know what corner they're cutting in cost, or if this is just like it's too difficult to do thing, but Crinkle-Cut and steak fries are never crispy enough on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And so they definitely lacked from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were fine.
6 out of 10 as well. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 out of 10. And then my last good was just the beach vibes, but attraction forward. I like it. I like kitsch. I like commercialism.
This is kitsch out the ass.
I like Times Square.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like if I had to pick an environment to spend a ton of time in, I'm not going like, oh, get me LED screens of products everywhere. This was like the carnival version of that, where it's like, hey, don't worry about buying stuff, but please ride this ride and, maybe go throw up somewhere.
Well, it is. They're trying to get you by an experience, which is the Coney Island experience, which is like, come by the sideshow and the roller coaster, not like a dumb T-shirt and a picture with Elmo.
Yes.
Which
was really charming.
Yeah.
I have it squarely in the good. I liked the atmosphere, even sitting on picnic tables outside. We're on an umbrella, getting some shade. It's not bad.
Yeah. And just knowing that, like, a block away, I can go to a minor league baseball game, and a block away is the beach, and I can go ride a roller coaster, and I take the train here, and
I can pay off the NYPD for $2 a day.
$2 a day for them to look the other way while I throw up on a car.
Yeah.
This is the kind of America I was looking for.
This is the dream.
Yeah.
This is what our ancestors dreamed of.
The vibes are immaculate to me. I love Coney Island for that.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to visit.
Yeah. And I will say, I like, despite the fact that there's a little bit of an identity crisis between the interior and the exterior of the building.
Yes.
I do like it. I love that this building has stood for over 100 years and the outside is just all old signage.
Yes.
Or at least stylized old signage. They only added the clam bar in 2012.
It's one thing if they were like a new restaurant that added old signage. But it's like, no, this is our old signage. We made new old signage.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fine.
We added things to the menu. We wanted to advertise them.
Yeah, it is confusing though, because I remember seeing it and walking in and it was like, oh, that's a nice looking menu. But at the same time, I was wondering to myself, would I like it better if it looked the same on the inside or the outside? I was like, I guess I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
because you don't spend that much time inside.
You can't no time
sit there.
Inside.
Well,
unless you're in the
line
for 45 minutes
that mythologically exists,
supposedly.
I had you get there early. I was like, look, dude, there's going to be a line. And like the first thing you say, like, so how about that line you were talking about?
He was like, yeah, you want to get there at 10 a.m.? I was like, bro, no one gets to Coney Island at 10 a.m. What are you talking
about? Look, I like to see the world through lenses not often peeped through. That's my outlook on life.
But hey, it turned out well. The sitting outside, the whole vibe, everything, like no notes on that.
Yeah.
Because you're also not like, there would be one thing if you had to sit on the sidewalk too.
Or a curb.
That'd be bad.
Oof.
This is fine. You're in like a lot that's like for the dining. And there's a lot of signage out there that's really fun too.
It's still Nathan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also like, it's so funny. There's even like a copycat place next door. It's like, we got fried clams too.
Okay.
Ew.
They probably do it better.
They probably, I don't even know.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else in the good?
Well, let's go for our first difference of opinion. I'd say the onion rings I thought were good.
Okay.
The one thing, my biggest complaint is that they were not onion forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it was still like, there's something about like a onion ring fried that's just different from every other fried. And they really nailed that part.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they were crispy. And like, I would have liked a different variety of sauces for dipping, but very tasty.
It didn't come with a specific one, right? We got our own ketchup. There was a remoulade that came with one of the other things that we kind of repurposed.
So it would have benefited from I was dipping it in like tartar sauce, that was unnecessary, but certainly not great, but not bad.
What would you score it? 4 to 6 is the zone of mediocre.
All right, 6.1 then.
What's funny is I had it at a 5.8. So this difference in opinion is solely because we're on opposite sides of a threshold.
Yeah,
but we are very close.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
I'll talk about it here. Literally, I wrote good but not good enough.
Sure.
It was filler. It was a thing where I was like, it's good enough that I'm gonna keep eating more of, but it's not a thing I'm recommending.
If I had a hankering for onion rings and that was what I got, I'd be like, damn.
Right?
Yeah, that's probably where I'd land.
And I think I always feel that way about onion rings. Like the onion rings are the side that excites me the most at places.
Yeah.
But so when you find a place that has a good onion ring, it's like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, you'll always remember it.
When you find a place that has a disappointing onion ring, you're like, never again.
Yeah.
I won't return here.
Yeah.
To the mecca of wieners.
But it just makes you not trust a lot of it's like, what's going on with the rest of this menu that you fucked up onion rings?
Yeah.
It's the canary in the coal mine.
Like the flavor was just there. The crunch was okay.
Yeah.
A little soggy, maybe. Like it still had a crunch, but it was soft. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Well, I like that.
That may have
combo.
been the onion.
I like that. Well, that's what I'm saying. It lacked the onion.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like there was hardly any onion in it. It's one of those things where it felt like the onion got dehydrated before they even fried it.
Yeah.
And it was like, where's the pop to that?
Yeah.
Speaking of snap. Where's the snap?
You want to snap?
Where's the onion snap?
Yeah. So it's like the breading gives you a little crisp, the inside gives you softness.
Nothing. Yeah. And in this case, it was very little.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the good. Let's move into everything that was not good.
Where do we start?
This is not so good. I'm not quite sure about it. Could have done without it. The stuff that brings down the mood. This is just not very good.
I would like to start with the burger.
Okay.
The burger.
The Hell's Kitchen burger.
The Hell's Kitchen burger.
Jalapeno with jalapeno ranch.
Comes with
bacon.
cheese. Comes with cheese.
Comes with cheese.
Comes with cheese. Didn't come with cheese this time.
That's fine.
However,
that's perfectly acceptable.
I'm not sure that would have made it that much better. The problems weren't with everything else. The problem was with the meat. It came on a brioche bun, which is like
a cheat code.
A cheat code these days.
Yeah.
And like, if you're putting on a brioche, how bad could it be? But they managed to not put enough aioli on it to make up for the fact that the meat was just mealy.
It was dry.
It was a very dry
patty. I love a good greasy burger. And sometimes too greasy is a thing that makes you feel a little bit sick about it.
Yeah.
Give me that sickness. They gave me no chance to feel like it was too it needed some grease.
Well, in the pictures you'd see, it'd be like it wasn't like smash burger ass, but it was like it looks like it's dripping a little bit. You know, it looks like it's got a little.
Implied something that it didn't.
And
then we passed another advertisement on the way back once we were leaving.
Yeah,
and we were like, you know what? Come to think of it, that picture actually does look pretty dry.
But now that you've had it.
But not knowing, you're not honing in on
like maybe I should have just been dousing it in ketchup the whole time, but I shouldn't have to do that.
Shouldn't.
And it almost was like, even if I douse that in ketchup, it still feels like it would be mealy in my mouth. It was gross because you know what it reminded me of is my cat food. Of like, you know, when some cat
eating a lot?
Yeah, a lot. And, you know, I have trouble sleeping. And so
you air fry some
air frying cat food and take the moisture out of it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the gross part. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But like when you have it, like some cat foods, it'll be like, you know, it's like the pate. And then some of them are like, it almost looks like wet kibble smushed together. And that was what that burger felt like, but somehow drier than cat food.
This is a ringing endorsement.
It wasn't that the flavor was bad.
Like, that's the thing. Like the
it tastes like cat
the jalapeno
food.
ranch.
I would have been coming out hot if it tasted like cat food.
Yeah, the jalapeno ranch. It was actually like a good spice level of the actual jalapeno.
Oh yeah, it had some kick to it. Yeah,
the bacon wasn't half bad. It wasn't like thick cut like gourmet bacon or anything, but it wasn't bad.
But it was fine for a burger. I often get upset when I take the bacon doesn't split, and then I end up just dragging a whole fucking piece of bacon out with the burger, and I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
like come on.
I thought so. I wrote all the fixins were good, but it was very dry. I want griddle grease. I'm gonna go 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I said 4.5 because it was just like, if you just
that's
fix
also
this one
in the
thing.
just.
How are you doing this?
4 to 6. It's mediocre.
Okay. All right. Well, then fine. 3.5. I will. I want it to land on not good.
I want to call it bad.
I want to call it bad because that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It's
what I said on the way out is felt like they cooked that on the hot dog roller. You know what I mean?
You just see pucks of beef working their way up and falling.
But it's like all the grease went away. You know? It wasn't cooking in grease.
It was on there too long. Yeah. I'm going to say the menu layout when you walk in is in the not good.
What was going on there?
They had like 15 different redesigns of the same menu.
Yeah.
And then like 4 other menus that only appeared once and like 20 menu screens overhead.
And it was unclear if you had to, like, one side just had the hot dog menu 3 times in a row and then a separate menu that just had hot dogs on it. Because it was like the hot dog menu would also have like fries and sides.
Yeah.
Then there was like the menu that had like heroes and Philly cheesesteak and burgers. And then there was the menu that had seafood.
Yeah.
And then there was a menu that just said catch of the day and it had the same seafood. And I'm like, what are you guys doing here?
And then there's a separate line for the seafood.
Yeah. And then there was another one. It was like, I don't know.
Luckily, because we were the only people there.
Yeah, we had time to peruse. We didn't feel pressure to like, order. We had time to figure it out. But it was just like, walking in there, I was like, I feel like this is like a riddle. You know? Like I'm walking in there and I'm like Indiana Jones style, like trying to like move these around to see if they like, is there a right order that I'm missing here?
Well, it's also a thing where like I like to thoroughly know all my options before I order. And I'm just like, reading halfway through. Oh, I've read that before. Read the next one. Oh, I've read that before.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
It felt like I was like Mandela affecting me in real time. You know,
the Berenstain Bears.
I don't remember this being on there.
Yeah.
You know, this is confusing. And then they had like a lot of menu items that weren't on the top menus. There was a lot of stuff on the counter that was listed as a menu item. And I was like, wait, was that up there?
And then they had a promotion going for the Genie movie with Sinbad.
I have a painting of that.
Oh, yeah. I vividly remember it, too.
Yeah, well, you know why? College Humor really muddied the waters because they made a trailer for it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and so if you Google it, you can still see the trailer. If you just have to, and so you'd be like, look. So they really screwed people with that one.
That's fun. That's the type of harmless evil we should be doing.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfectly good prank. But yeah, that the menu layout definitely was like it felt like they were trying to confuse us.
Yeah.
And I was like, but why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to us? Your clientele is mostly confused, dumb, drunk tourists. Why are you making this even harder on them?
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you punishing me? I'm already punishing myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Why are you adding to my frustrations?
Yeah.
It's like, are you trying to steer me to just get a hot dog? Because it's working. Like, and maybe it is.
You get to the front line, you have that panic. You're like, 3 hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's it. What else you got? Not good.
All right. Let's get into the legs. Let's get into frog legs.
Okay. Before we like talk about like the actual food of the frog legs, I wrote as a separate item in not good, watching Marty eat frog legs.
Hey, the feeling of eating frog legs was also on my notes. Okay?
Just seeing you discover new bones in your mouth.
Yeah, dude. It was like, I'm like,
how many bones does a frog's leg have?
What was I supposed to like? It was like, there was one when I got it out and I was like, where was this? Like
functionally, what does this do?
Is this a toe bone? Like, how small of a bone did I just pull out here?
Yeah.
Like, and it was just so confusing. And it comes to like the legs come together, conjoined at the hip. So you pull them apart like a wishbone, but because like the fried skin is very much intact, like you just wind up with like a bunch of meat hanging out.
I was gonna say, is intact the right word?
No, it doesn't like stick to the meat. The skin whatsoever.
The skin is like I'm hanging out with the rest of the skin.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with the batter.
Wherever the rest of the skin goes, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm with batter. Batter and skin is my. I don't know meat. Yeah, I'm not with meat. Yeah, I'm out. And so like you pull it apart, and then you're just like, it just gets so confusing so quickly. So there's some large chunks of meat you get, and if you're smart, you fork it. But if you're me, you go in and you try to eat it all at once in your mouth, and then you find out how many goddamn bones are in there, and it's terrifying.
You look like in like a Tom and Jerry cartoon when you're eating a whole fish and you just pull the bones out of your mouth.
That's what it felt like. I just like kept going like,
yeah.
and it made the experience of eating the frog legs much worse. Like, I don't even know how much I really enjoyed that because the process of eating them was such a pain.
Yeah. And the process of seeing you do it upset me. And then you're like, all right, it's your turn. And I was like, do I have to?
He was like, I'll do it. I'm going to eat them.
Like, literally, I ate 2 things for the first time today. Clam strips and frog legs. I'd never had them. Yeah. I had alligator when I went to Papado a few years ago.
Alligator's good. I like alligator.
It's
fine. It's
the only reptile I've eaten. Now frog, the only amphibian I've eaten. And, like, I didn't like the flavor of it. The meat was very mushy. It tasted like an amphibian in that it was part land, part sea. It tasted like if chicken tasted like fish.
Yeah.
Didn't taste like fish. Didn't taste like chicken.
Yeah.
Just tasted like chicken and fish had both like been left on a street overnight.
Yeah. If you like brined it in pickle water or something, like a little bit, not like a full night, but like just enough for like catch a little bit of that salty flavor.
Or brining chicken in a fish tank.
Yeah. And so they seasoned it a lot. Like whatever that batter was, they had a lot of seasoning too. So like when you ate it, here's the terrible joke of the day. The frog legs had a lot of kick to it. It was, woo! It did feel good and bad to say that, much like it felt like eating an Nathan's. But it was like, Yeah, it was some of the time I'd take a bite and be like, yeah, it wasn't bad. And then I'd take another bite and it was like, oh, why am I doing this?
I tried 4 different bites and it was like, it was trying to get on a carousel that's already in motion. I couldn't find the right angle to enjoy it.
Well, you also ate like, you finished off the entire meal by being like, all right, fine, I'll eat the last frog leg. And as you tried to like pry it off of the serving paper,
it's like
just seeing how soggy the fried was and how it was just like dangling all over the place. It got more and more gross as the process went on.
Yeah.
And then when I tried to dip it in the remoulade and all the meat just spilled out into the remoulade, and then I'm like trying to pick out chunks of meat filled with bone out of remoulade and eat it and like, oh my God, the flavor wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't so bad, but the process of eating it was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it was my turn to eat it, if we'll phrase it that way, I felt like when in like the Saw movies, when the detectives like come to the crime scene and like see everything that had happened. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
How do I make sense of what went on here?
No, and it was an experience front to back. And as I described it as I would watch someone else eat those, I would not order those again. Like I would, speaking of fun pranks, a fun prank would be to convince somebody to eat frog legs at Coney Island at Nathan's. A fun prank on yourself would be to eat them yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
If like, I don't know if my idea of a prank is, hey, eat this.
Of convincing someone it's good?
I guess.
It's not a bad. I mean, come on. How many people have you convinced? I guess you don't drink. I've convinced a lot of people to drink Malort, and that's a fun prank.
Like, what's the enjoyment in that? Just watching someone wince?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the enjoyment of the rest of the pranks?
I don't know.
What's a prank to you?
Something elaborate. Like I played like going back to the Saw movie, the ending of the first Saw movie when just the dead guy just sits up, he's like, I've been here all along, and he shuts the door.
And it was Bruce Willis the entire time.
It's Bruce Willis. He has a cane and does like a vaudeville dance. Like that kind of, that's a prank to me. Like, yeah, gotcha, you cut off your own foot.
But the point is haha, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I guess the
wince is the same thing. As I
go harder than you didn't enjoy that bite, did you? I did. Oh, your life's ruined.
Yeah,
now.
Sure. That's a more complex prank is great.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like, look, you idiot, I tricked you.
You know what I got my mom with like 3 April Fools in a row?
Uh-huh.
At like the big kitchen sink in the middle of like, your main eating area or whatever, and you have the little attachment hose that you can like spray dishes with.
Uh-huh.
I would just rubber band the thing that you press to like make it go out of there, and then aim it at like. So she would just go she'd go to the faucet in the morning and just get like sprinklered in the face, and it would be like 6 a.m. I'd be upstairs. I did it the night before, and I would just wake up to hearing a scream downstairs, and that was 3 years in a row. And I felt mildly bad, but I was like, but it worked.
Yeah. So you're more of a setting traps person. I'm more of a in your face mind games person.
Yeah, I'm gonna move away from referencing Saw before
Right. Yeah, traps.
An investigation gets launched.
Anyways, you were talking about that murder hotel in Chicago.
But yeah, the frog legs for me too overwhelming. I went 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah, 2.7. I think is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
It was like. It wasn't so bad that I was like retching or something like that, but the whole process was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Anything else you would call not good, or is everything else just there for you?
Oh, let's see. I said that the clams were not good. I don't know what I expected.
Yeah.
I think fried clams, I was expecting like, I think in my mind, it was almost like scallop shaped. And then being that fried and having like kind of a burst to it. This is just like strips of fried seafood flavored dough.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And most of them actually was just that. I'm convinced there was no clam in most of
the
this.
Entire order?
There was in like 2 bites, we figured out that there was, because you try to bite into it and you'd pull and it would have a clam. You would see like the toughness.
Yeah.
The texture of a clam was there. But some of those That was just fried dough.
Yeah.
That was just fried dough. The whole time I was just like, I'd rather this was calamari.
Sure.
That was what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, why isn't this
There's
calamari?
a better version of this thing.
There's a much better version of this thing. I don't know why you guys are doing this. And I know it's probably because there's probably some historical, this is what people used to eat. But like, I was almost in my mind like, is this what they were like at the place next door? Or is this just how Nathan's does them?
Yeah.
Like they kind of stink.
I'm a big believer in when you go to a place, get the thing they're known for.
Right.
And Nathan's is a hot dog place. Sure, they can experiment. They can get clams. They can get frog legs. Go for the hot dog.
But I slightly disagree on that. I think a lot from what I've heard of like native New Yorkers is that it's also known for like fried clams as like a beach thing for the original location.
But like they only added them in 2012. But they were around almost 100 years.
I mean, well, maybe it's people that have only been recently.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be talking out of
just
my
like
ass.
Since then, the addition has been positively received, is what you're saying?
No, you know what I'm thinking of? I think maybe what they're talking about, the addition of the 2012, is that they had non-fried oyster or non-fried clams there. Part of the seafood menu was non-fried clams. And I think that's what
clams
you're
on the half shell or something?
I think that's what you're talking about.
That's oysters.
Yeah. But there was, so I think they always had fried clams.
Okay.
Because that's also like all the old signage is also says fried clams too.
Gotcha.
But even so, it was just kind of like it is front and center on the signage of being like, this is something we have. And it's like, do you though? Like how much of that was clams?
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even like, I don't know.
They'll never know if we just fried dough in the shape of clam strips.
To me, it was just seafood flavored dough for the most part.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah. What was your score for it?
I said it was, like 3.8. Because
3.8.
it was still like, at the end of the day, it's still something fried and I could put it in my mouth and like, that's fine.
Yeah,
it didn't taste bad. It was just disappointing.
And then the last thing I'm going to put in not good, the Wi-Fi wasn't giving its all. There were like 6 options of Wi-Fis you could connect to. One of them was Nathan's. And the one that was Nathan's, it only had like 2 out of 3 of the little Wi-Fi signal.
Which is tough because like I really want to park at Nathan's all day, drinking beer and lemonade.
Yeah.
And writing Yelp reviews. That's like, that's how I make most of my money.
I got to do my paralegal case studies or, whatever.
Yeah.
Nathan's isn't going to park up.
Yeah, I need to do my drug dealing. I need to run my Silk Road website, the Nathan's picnic lot.
Yeah,
so, they really need to step that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should at least cover end-to-end encryption,
Yeah, at the very least.
If that's what you're using it for.
How much can I really ask for here,
Yeah. All right, that's it for the not good. Let's talk about all the things that were just there.
This is a weird one. I'm not quite sure what to say about it. Yeah. This is for the stuff that is just there.
I thought that the service had no heart but no attitude. So I'll take it.
It's a service that I can't believe hasn't been replaced by robots yet. Like that's
one might argue it has.
Like they could have just turned those screens over and I could have entered my order in just as easy. Like I don't know how they haven't gone the kiosk route yet.
Yeah. Well, it's also their ordering process is literally you talk to one employee, they put in your order, then they gather all of it. So it's not like it sends it to the back and someone puts it together and then they bring it to the front and they hand it off officially.
Is that true? I didn't even realize that. Oh my God. That's so funny.
That is their process.
That's insane.
Which is why she didn't even crack a smile when I walk up and I go, I'm going to be ordering a lot of food. She's just like, I'm going to get my steps in.
Yeah. She dead-eyed you when you said that. But that's also very like a New York thing is like hey, we're not giving you customer service. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
We don't do that here.
Yeah. It wasn't like Dick's Last Resort. They weren't like yelling at us and calling us names. They were just like, I wish you weren't here.
Yes. I wish both you weren't here and that 8 hours would pass very quickly.
Yeah. They're like, I think those people would really go for the severance treatment.
Oh, no.
I think those people would really go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Just bummed me out, man. but like I agree. Yeah. So I think for the service, I'm gonna go thumbs in the middle overall.
Yeah.
Ambiance for Nathan's, I'm gonna go a thumb up.
Oh yeah, I mean that the vibes, like you said, the music and the setting and the ambiance. I think that all.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
And then the food just comes out to thumbs in the middle. They had a lot of things that I was just like, this could be good if you just like put a little change in here and there to just make little things pop a little bit better.
Yeah, it was but
the hot dog's incredible.
If you didn't have the hot dog, I would never go to this place again.
Yeah,
there would be no good reason to go here.
Yeah,
but
a prank.
But my guy, but a good prank to play in your friends? Yeah. Absolutely. Send them to a bad restaurant? Hell yeah. That's great. That's a great prank to play on people, especially when they really build it up to them too. Yeah. And be like, you gotta get this, and you can get this if you want. Yeah, if you're cool, you got to really you can't.
If you're brave,
yes, if you're
get the frog legs. If you're brave enough,
but like you said, it suffered from too many options, and it's like, why did you expand the menu? Yeah, this is not necessary. Yeah. The hot dog craze, bring it back.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Hot dogs are, ever since the term glizzy got coined.
We're back. No, hot dogs are back. It's a big time for hot dogs, and they should really be capitalizing. Yeah. And instead, I'm in there looking at a menu that has, tater kegs and stuff like that.
Can we talk about that for a second? They have tater tots loaded with cheese.
Oh, you never had those?
I just want to talk
about... I'm not a cheese guy. Yeah.
But I just want to talk about the name. Tater kegs.
Yeah.
Is the most intense sounding gluttony forward snack you could create.
They're so good too.
Tater keg.
I had one. I didn't know what they were, and I got them in Boston, and I was just like, this is like America right here. Like sure. they stuffed a tater tot full of cheese. Like, oh my God. Like, you remember when they put cheese in hot dogs?
Like, stuffed in?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, this is the tater tot version.
You mean the moment where I no longer could implicitly trust a hot dog?
I'm sorry.
As someone who doesn't eat cheese.
Did you trust hot dogs before?
With my life. I would look any dog.
The whole idea of the hot dog is you really don't know what's in it.
You are rolling the dice.
You are rolling the dice.
Hot dog is
cheese is best case scenario.
No,
not for you.
For me, for my palate. You just made hot dog like Russian roulette for me.
German
is it loaded?
Roulette.
Is this the chain? Is this the one that ends it all? That's all for me. Do you have anything else in just there, or do you think we've covered everything?
No, I think we covered everything on my list too.
All right. We need to score everything and do the Chili's test, but we can't do that yet. Mm-hmm. You're not calibrated. This is your first time on the Fine Dining Podcast. I've been to over 100 restaurants. My scores compare to one another perfectly. I just want to calibrate you to our scale. So Chili's right in the middle, but we got to know a 0. We got to know a 10 for Marty Cunnie. We're going to go to this week's calibration station.
Calibration station. Comparing this meal to the best to the worst. Calibration station. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
All right, Marty. Basically, the point of this is just to hear what is the worst restaurant experience you've ever had, something that you would call a 0. What is the best restaurant dining experience you've ever had, something you would call a 10. Once those are defined, we can rate more properly. You can start with whichever one you want.
My 10 is not actually a restaurant. I was at Burning Man.
Is this like your air fryer?
Sort of.
Okay.
My 10 was I was at Burning Man on acid and in the middle of the desert. And a couple people said, hey, come over here. And I was like, what's going on? And I came over and they were roasting a pig and had set up a picnic table. And we're like, do you guys want some food? And we said, yeah, 100%. And they sat us down and served us roasted pig with a side of like mashed potatoes and cornbread and like a side salad with it was like a corn salad, and then had like a dessert like pudding, and it was all delicious. And not just because I was on drugs. It was like really delicious food. So like the experience of just being like in the middle of nowhere, called in, be like, here's a delicious meal you didn't ask for. 10 out of 10.
An impromptu meal, always great.
Yeah. And
also just that spread as you've described it sounds like a banger of a meal.
It was a banger of a meal. And so just like the whole experience, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And they were like very nice and like, just clean up after yourselves. Like, 100%. Yeah. So that's 10. 0, last summer I was in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah.
And I sunburned my eyeballs.
Okay.
So we'll keep a long story short. I sunburned my eyeballs because I was reading on the beach face down and the sun reflected off the white sand into my eyes.
Oh.
I didn't know that was a thing. And so I was like,
I thought this was going to be like, remember that eclipse?
Yeah. I know I have big staring at an eclipse vibes, but no, I was just like, so basically the next 2 days I was blind.
Yeah.
My eyes hurt so bad. It was just like, it's just a constant intense pain. I couldn't have them open.
Yeah.
I was wearing eye patches on both eyes because I went to the urgent care and that's
on
what they did for
eyes.
me. And so
it's so embarrassing.
And so at the tail end of this trip, I'm back in the airport and the person I'm with, we go to eat at the airport because I'm like, I haven't eaten anything. I'm starving. And so that my airport dining experience, that they saw that I was like blind, they had to like wheel me in there in a wheelchair because I like otherwise she'd have to like lead me around the entire place. She was like, we'll just wheel you. And they sit me in a part of this not very full restaurant apparently that everybody had to walk by. So I'm constantly getting jostled while I can't see and I can't see my plate. And the food was okay. I just got like a Cuban sandwich, but I'm just like, the dining experience was terrible with my eyeballs on fire, constantly being jostled. It was like the worst like sensory experience of my life. And so that's 0.
All right. Well, somewhere between sunburned eyeballs and roast pig feast on acid lies Nathan's famous today. This meal that we had.
Yeah.
Is it closer to one than the other? We'll find out. We're going to put it to the Chili's test.
It's time to set scale. Will it pass or will it fail? Is it the worst? Is it the best? Let's put it to the Chili's test.
Was this experience better than Chili's? I think for me, I would say yes, but barely. Chili's has been on a downward trajectory, if you ask me, in terms of like the excitement that I would get going to a Chili's. The food, it's like, it's fine. It's the definition of fine. The ambiance, all that. Nathan's today, I was excited to go to. And when we left, I still felt as much as the rest of the menu worked to kind of hammer away at my enthusiasm. Yes. I did still leave with a slight amount of Nathan's famous preference to Chili's. So I would say it's better, and it's riding on the back of this guy.
Yeah.
The hot dog is so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 5.14.
5.14. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. That they did their best to get rid of your hope and your dreams.
Yes.
But they couldn't do it.
They couldn't.
Because that hot dog was so damn good.
Honestly, that milkshake was a metaphor. They tried to crush my hopes and dreams, but it's still a milkshake.
At the end of the day, yeah. I scored mine a little bit higher because I lean heavy on vibes.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things like once you find what you like, we had too much menu. But let's in a world where I had gone in and just gotten 6 hot dogs and 3 beers and lemonades, that'd be a 10 out of 10 experience. You know, that's pretty good right there. So,
and by the way, that's what I did last year and why I was so excited to come to Nathan's for this, because I only ate hot dogs. I was like, this is going to be great.
And then I made you get
frog legs, fried clams.
Perfect. See how fun that is?
And I literally watched you pull bones out of your throat that don't exist in humans. Those same bones do not exist in humans.
That was the confusing part. I mean, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, vibes and the fact that I can prank people using it, and at the end of the day, I have some really good food I can eat there.
Yeah.
I landed at a 6.56.
6.56. So when you put your score together with my score, Nathan's Famous is going to go up on the tchotchke of mediocrity, my giant scoreboard back home in Los Angeles, at a 5.85. We now know that Nathan's Famous is officially better than Chili's.
Better than the Chili's, objectively good.
All right, well, I'm going to go somewhere next week and see all about another restaurant, if it's better than Chili's or not as good as Chili's. I am going to just randomly go through a random number generator in my head and see if I can land on a good restaurant for next week. Next week, I'm going to go review Jollibee. Oh, no. Someone's got thoughts.
Yeah. I'll let you.
I've not had it before, so we'll find out.
It's an experience.
Sweet spaghetti with hot dogs in it. Marty, thanks so much for coming on, for joining me for this meal, for lending me your insides for not in that way.
No, this is I feel like a hot dog of remorse is going to be the mecca of hot dogs. First of all, is hot dog mecca.
The mecca of wieners.
Mecca of wieners is entering my lexicon. I'm glad we got that out of this.
Yes.
If nothing else, indigestion and the mecca of wieners is what I'm coming away with today.
We did it. Tell people where they can follow you on social media.
Marty Cunnie Comedy on everything. Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, the usual spots.
The usual ones.
And MartyCunnieComedy.com for tour dates, mostly in New York these days, but hopefully in your area soon.
Awesome. And you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Fine Dining Podcast or finedining.bsky.social. You can go to my Patreon for an exclusive episode every single month. And you can join my Discord if you want to chat with me. I'm very active there. I'm not hard to reach. You can go tell me you hate me and I'll see it. It'll make me sad.
We're so accessible, aren't we?
We are so accessible. You can make me cry. Anyways, that's another one in the books. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.
Have a fine day.
Well, there's another one in the books. We judge the service up to the cooks. And while we may have gotten a couple of dirty looks, no, the journey can never stop. Now from the bottom down to the top, we got a new info and everything's on lock. And that's 'cause Chili's to the letter to the T is the perfect cornerstone of mediocrity. So now we got a brand new kind of test. That's the words we gotta know, 'cause we sure ain't know it yet. Triple dipper got the ribs, the main course, perfect little in the middle. It's good, now it's got to be the lock for what we use when we put things up on the charge. Mediocrity. So there's another one in the books. Yeah, there's another one in the books. And we will see you next week, baby.
Have a fine day.